Hey everybody. I'm glad you can make it with me today. Today is another episode of the English Repair Shop where we help a Japanese person studying English fix their English mistakes. Let's get started.
今日は英語修理店のエピソードです。英語を勉強している日本人が英語の間違いを正してくれないかと尋ねました。これを実際の会話英語で行ってみます。
Hey everybody, Percy here again. Thank you for joining me on the Social English Podcast. If you are a new listener, thank you for joining me today. If you are a returning listener, I appreciate you for coming back. What's your English level? Listen to this because we're going to talk about what today's English episode level is.
英語を学び始めたばかりのリスナーの皆さん、こんにちは。ソーシャルイングリッシュポッドキャストの今日のエピソードはあなたのためです。それでも問題が解決せず、このエピソードの英語が理解できない場合は、ゆっくりとエピソードを聞いてください。頑張れ。
Okay, so, of course, this is an English Repair Shop episode where I help a Japanese person with their English. They asked me, so I said yes. Today we have a young lady, and she wants to talk about something she watched on the Japanese news. So, we're going to help her fix that and how to say that in correct English.
すべての英語修理店のエピソードと同様に4つのパートがあります。パート1では英語を勉強している日本人が間違って言ったことを正確に聞くことができます。パート2では会話型のソーシャルイングリッシュスタイルで正しい英語を聞くことができます。パート3ではパーシーはあなたが同じ過ちを犯さないようにするために彼が重要だと考えるヒントをあなたに与えます。パート4でパーシーは正しい英語版を高速で自然な速度で言います。このようにしてネイティブの速度で英語を聞く練習をすることもできます。
So, in English, what my friend Ko just said is that there are 4 parts to these episodes. In part 1, I will read the wrong English of the Japanese person that's asked me to help. In part 2, I will read the corrected English that I made in a social English style. Okay? And in part 3, I will give you my hints, advice that I think is important. Part 4, I will say the correct English in a conversational, natural speed, modern English in a real natural speed. That way, you can practice listening to English and get better with your listening skills. Are you ready? All right, let's get started with part 1. In part 1 today, we have 2 sentences. They are long sentences. Okay, so please listen carefully. 聞いてください. 1. I saw the news that content is a man was smoking on the train while lying on the seat, and the man has many tattoos on his body. So looks little bit scary, and there was a high school student who tried to stop that his doing. After that, he was violent from the man. 2. This is sad news, but there is a big issue in that news. It is there was many peoples, otherwise these two persons, but nobody tried to help of the high school student. When I saw that, I felt stressed. Okay. Very long. Here it is again, English parts only. I saw the news that content is a man was smoking on the train while lying on the seat, and the man has many tattoos on his body. So looks little bit scary, and there was a high school student who tried to stop that his doing. After that, he was violent from the man. This is sad news, but there is big issue in that news. It is there was many peoples, otherwise these two persons, but nobody tried help of the high school student. When I saw that, I felt stressed. Okay, so that is way, way, way too long. So let's go to part 2. Okay, this is the correct English in the social English speed. I almost jumped to part 3 because it was so long. I don't like this sentence at all. It is too long. So let's go straight into part 2. This is the correct English, social English speed. Okay, so I was watching the news the other day about this scary looking guy with tattoos on the subway. He was lying across the seats smoking a cigarette. A high schooler asked him to stop, but the guy got violent. It was pretty sad because no one tried to help the high school kid, even though there were many onlookers. This stressed me out. Okay, one more time, just the English parts only. I was watching the news the other day about this scary looking guy with tattoos on the subway. He was lying across the seats smoking a cigarette. A high schooler asked him to stop, but the guy got violent. It was pretty sad because no one tried to help the high school kid, even though there were many onlookers. This stressed me out. All right, let's go to part 3. Here's part 3. My hints, my advice. 1. First hint, you don't need to use content because you said the news. You watched the news. So the listener, that's me, I already know, I understand already that you are talking about content from the news. So don't use content. No. Second advice, number 2. These two sentences are too long. Very, very long. No. Body. too long, okay? So you want to have your sentence shortened. So you want to have shorter sentences so that the listener can follow and understand your story. Okay, third advice, use the phrase stressed me out and not I feel stressed, because this is not natural English and it sounds strange. Okay, so let's go to part 4. Part 4 here is the English in the correct social English with fast English natural speed. Here we go. I was watching the news the other day about the scary looking guy with tattoos on the subway. He was lying across the seat smoking a cigarette. A high schooler asked him to stop, but the guy got violent. It was pretty sad because no one tried to help the high school kid, even though there were many onlookers. This stressed me out. I was watching the news the other day about the scary looking guy with tattoos on the subway. He was lying across the seats smoking a cigarette. A high schooler asked him to stop, but the guy got violent. It was pretty sad because no one tried to help the high school kid, even though there were many onlookers. This stressed me out.
このショーを気に入っていただけたら、5つ星のレビューをぜひお願いします。コメントは英語か日本語でお書きいただければ喜んで読ませていただきます。リアルソーシャルイングリッシュ .com にアクセスしてぜひ無料でダウンロードしてください。ほとんどの日本人の英語を勉強している人がやってしまいがちな7つの間違いとその正しい言い方。また、毎日英語を上達させるのに役立つ資料もたくさんあります。Apple Podcast、Google Podcast、Stitcher、そして今はパンドラでもポッドキャストを購読いただきます。支援者になっていただけませんか？私たちがこのショーを作るための支援として$5の寄付をお願いできませんか？今後のエピソードで感謝の気持ちをお伝えします。また、そこでしか利用できない新しいコンテンツも入手できます。patreon.com/socialenglish からご参加ください。ソーシャルメディアで私たちのポッドキャストを友達にシェアしたり、Twitter、Facebook、Instagram のフォローをお願いします。
Okay, there you have it. Thanks for joining me today. That's how you talk about something you saw on the news and how you share it in English with other English-speaking people. Today's action item for you is I want you to try to use stressed out. Practice with a friend. Tell them a story when you were stressed out. Tell them why you were stressed out. Share this with an English native speaking friend. Tell them your story. Watch how they react. Watch what they tell you and listen and learn. Think about the words you understand. Think about what you heard today. If you don't understand a word, please go back, listen again, and use your Japanese English dictionary. If you need help, you can also go to our website and listen to this episode with Japanese translation. But I hope, and my goal is to make this easy English for you to understand and English for your English skill level. Okay. Okay, so that's it for today's episode. Once again, like I said, I really am glad that you are able to listen and share with me today. Share your experiences on my Twitter. I love to hear from you. Leave a message in Japanese or English. If you are afraid to use your English, try using your Japanese at first until you get better. It's okay. No problem. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. Please leave a review. Give us 5 stars or 4. If you don't want to give us 5, please leave a comment and let me know how I can make this show better for you. Okay? I appreciate you. Thanks again for listening. I will see you in the next episode. Peace and love. Hikari, please close the show.
今日は楽しい時間をありがとうございました。ぜひ私たちのウェブサイト realsocialenglish.com を訪問して日本語訳と役立つ情報を手に入れてください。また次回お会いしましょう。バイバイ。See you next time. Bye bye.